malam semuanya, salam sehat, salam bahagia, salam cinta. Sudah 4 bulan saya Brenda Imekre tidak hadir mengisi di acara cinta, cerita inspiratif nampol Twimers asik. Nah, seri cinta ini sebenarnya sudah saya mulai sudah lama sejak zaman pandemi. Itu pun disarankan oleh Scott karena kita masih bisa sharing gitu ya di online. Jadilah, wah selamat malam Sis Weni. Jadilah seri cinta ini sudah ke 156. Mudah-mudahan suara saya sudah jelas ya Bro Sis ya. Jadi kemudian Scott pernah mengalami sakit gitu. Kena TIA kedua kalinya, long time finally, iya. Jadi Scott ini sudah terkena serangan. Thank you Sis Weni untuk komennya. Jadi Scott ini sudah kena serangan kedua kali, kena TIA. Yang pertama itu tahun lalu atau 2 tahun yang lalu, tetapi itu karena dia darah tinggi. Jadi dan dia tidak pernah mau minum obat darah tinggi. Just a minute love, I will invite you. Kemudian setelah itu membaik, dia minum obat dan lain sebagainya, obat darah tingginya. Kemudian akhirnya bulan Maret kemarin dia mengalami serangan lagi yang kedua kali. Nah, yang menarik ini ada hubungannya dengan long QT syndrome. Makanya saya mau mengangkat tema ini supaya banyak orang yang bisa paham apa sih itu TIA, apa sih itu long QT syndrome gitu ya. Karena dulu kita nggak paham sama sekali, tapi sejak Scott mengalami sakit, mau nggak mau saya cari tahu. Sekarang saya invite dan Scott ini untuk yang belum tahu adalah suami saya. Absen di cinta, kemudian saya pun sakit, ya akhirnya baru sekarang. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Good. Good that you can join. It's been a long time.
It has. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So I'm explaining to the viewers what is it that you experience, and I will read this in bahasa first, so people get an understanding. Ya, sure. Jadi saya membacakan ini yang saya ketemukan tentang TIA, yaitu Transient Ischemic Attack. Ini adalah stroke ringan di mana serangan stroke yang berlangsung singkat, tidak menyebabkan kerusakan otak permanen, tetapi menjadi peringatan bahwa penderitanya berisiko mengalami serangan stroke yang lebih hebat di kemudian hari. Jadi ini adalah Transient Ischemic Attack, ya. Nah, ini gejalanya hilang dalam waktu singkat, tidak menyebabkan kerusakan otak permanen. Tetapi dari dokternya Scott, dokter yang merawat Scott itu ada dokter penyakit dalam, dokter Gunawan, ada dokter Rima yang menangani syarafnya, ada dokter Mega yang menangani jantungnya Scott. Nah, dokter Mega inilah yang menemukan LQTS-nya karena dites macam-macam baru ketemu. So, I'm explaining to them first about the TIA. I was talking to them about the TIA. This is the second time. That was the second time in March when you experienced the TIA. So how was it like? So people understand what they need to do when they got a similar issue. So go ahead.
Yeah, so let's see. So I guess both times, which, the first time happened 2 years before, the second time. Did you need to translate as we go, love, or?
I think the viewers understand, but I will I will translate a little bit. Jadi Scott kena serangan pertama itu 2 tahun yang lalu. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, I noticed weakness. I think both times I noticed weakness in my arm. Was in my left. I think it was my left arm both times, and I just noticed that wow, my arm kind of felt like rubber a little bit. And
Mm.
then, um, uh, yeah, then I also noticed a little bit of weakness in my left leg. And then,
Love,
yeah.
our little girl, Sisweni from Surabaya, call you Poppy, so she's here.
Oh, hi. Hello, Siswini. Yeah.
Yeah, the one
Oh,
who sent you that thing to make the drink.
yeah. Thank you, Siswini. Yeah, yeah.
And Sis Pohwa is also here. Hello juga Sis Pohwa. Go
Okay.
ahead. Jadi Scott mengalami kelemahan di salah satu tangannya pada saat itu. Oh, maybe your student is here, Mackenzie Ali. I
Oh,
haven't done homework.
Mackenzie. Yeah.
Yeah. So Scott mengalami kelemahan di is it your left your left or right hand?
Left.
Sebelah kiri.
Hmm. This last time, for sure, it was my left hand, but it's possible. Yeah, the first time it happened, maybe it was my right, but I think it was my left.
Dia bilang yang kedua kalinya itu sebelah kiri, tapi nggak ingat yang pertama itu yang di kiri yang di kanan. So what
Yeah.
did you do when it happened, and how did you know it was like a stroke?
Well, see, the first time, so I had learned that DMSO, which is a byproduct of the wood business, where they basically process wood to make paper. This DMSO product, which is used medically for other things, I had heard that it can help with a stroke. So I thought, okay, I'm experiencing a stroke, and I need to, yeah, and I already had the DMSO in the closet here. So but I didn't know really how to use it. I didn't know how to take it, how much to take, and all like that. And so I started researching online while you were here in the room right next to me, and I didn't want to tell you right away because I was afraid that you were going to say, "Oh, that's it. We got to go to the hospital," and then and rush us off to the hospital. So I was just quiet. I didn't tell you that I had a stroke. I
Right.
just did the research for about an hour, and
Oh my
then
God, it was an hour.
45 minutes to an hour, something like that.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, and the whole time I'm typing on the keyboard is like my hand is, not working properly, and it's like, ensuring me that yeah, I am having a stroke.
Jadi
But
just a minute lah. Jadi
yeah,
Scott bilang waktu pertama kali mengalami TIA itu dia lemas di tangannya. Kemudian dia Google, dia cari tahu, dia udah tahu tentang DMSO. Saya bacakan DMSO atau dimetil sulfoksida adalah pelarut organik yang sangat serbaguna dan banyak digunakan dalam berbagai bidang termasuk penelitian ilmiah, industri, dan medis. Senyawa ini adalah cairan bening yang sangat polar, bercampur dengan air dan banyak pelarut organik lainnya. Jadi, bro dan sis, ini adalah sesuatu hal yang Scott lakukan, jadi dia simpan DMSO itu. How did you get the DMSO lah, the first time?
Bante Wimala Ramsey brought it here from the U.S. I had asked if he could bring it one time when he came, and he did. Yeah.
Jadi Scott dapatnya pertama kali itu dari Amerika DMSO-nya. Titip sama Bante Wimala Ramsey, waktu itu beliau masih hidup, dan Bante bawakan dari Amerika. Jadi Scott beli terus titip Bante bawakan karena waktu itu belum ada di Indonesia. How does it look like?
Well, I'll show you in just a minute, but I have to say something real quick. Yeah.
Okay.
Mackenzie, yeah, do your homework, please. Yeah, it's a short video to watch, and it'll only take about 3-4 minutes. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Just watch that video, okay? Right, and then maybe after we're done here, okay? Mackenzie. All right. So, show you a bottle. Okay, here's a bottle of DMSO. Yeah, is it backwards on the screen? I don't know.
Yes, it is backward, DMSO. Jadi ini yang Scott bawa-bawa okay sir, he said. Ini yang dia bawa-bawa ada di rumah, ada di tasnya Scott, di backpacknya. So,
yeah,
what did you find out?
for emergency, so this is a 100 milliliter bottle, and so now that I know about how to take it like that, I've written the instructions down on this bottle, and then I carry this in my backpack all the time. So
Mm.
actually, the second time I had the stroke, is I put it in my backpack after the first time, and so the second time I had it, I was at school, and
Right.
and this was in my backpack. So I
Mhm.
went ahead and I pulled it out of my backpack. It had been there for 2 years, about,
Iya. Jadi
and
Scott bilang karena dia udah pernah mengalami TIA yang pertama, jadi dia simpan di DMSO di tasnya 100 mili, 100 mili, right lah?
100 milli in this bottle. Yes.
100 mili DMSO,
Yeah.
dimasukkan ke botol, dia seal, kemudian dia taruh di dalam backpacknya. Karena yang kedua kali itu terjadi di sekolah. Kan Scott mengajar di sekolah Narada. Itu yang kedua kali dia mengalaminya di sana. Jadi dia bisa tahu cara minumnya. So how did you take it?
So the way you take it is you're supposed to take it, I think it's every 15 minutes, take 30 milliliters, or is it 15? 15 milliliters in 100 milliliters of juice. But
Ya,
at the,
jadi 15 mili. Perbandingannya adalah 15 mili DMSO dan 100 mili jus.
yeah, but
Itu
at school,
dicampur, minum. Karena baunya nggak enak banget.
yeah, at school I didn't have any juice, so I just made some sugar water.
Jadi sekolahan dia nggak ada jus, jadi dia bikin air gula katanya.
Yeah. So, hello, El Canino. So, yeah, and so then I, started taking it, and then as soon as I started taking it, well, actually, at school, I was kind of like, dang, is this happening again? Let me take this stuff, and maybe I can just get over it, right?
Hmm.
So I took it, and I don't think I finished the bottle.
By the
And
way, when it happened, you were in the classroom, right?
no, I was in the teacher's room actually. So and
Oh,
before class, and so
oh.
I took it, and I thought, well, I feel a little bit better actually after
Hmm.
taking. And I thought, well, maybe that's it. I was able to take care of it, or it went away. And so then I went to class, and then
Ah,
yeah, it's my
jadi
grade.
terjadinya di ruang guru. Karena Scott kan seorang guru. Katanya dia udah minum, dia rasanya enakan, dia pergi ke kelas untuk mengajar. And
Yeah,
then,
and then I noticed that I still feel weak. This isn't good. And so about, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 minutes into my class, I said, hey guys, I think I'm having a stroke again. you know,
mm,
I gotta go. And the teacher's room for senior high is just a 10-meter walk. So I just walked to the teacher's room, and I said, hey, I'm having a stroke. I need to go, I need to go to the
how
hospital.
did you know that you had stroke? That's important for people to know.
The weakness, yeah, the weakness I was getting weaker in my left leg. I think especially in my left leg by that time. I was
Jadi
feel,
lemah. What about your hand? Your arm?
yeah, I still felt weak, but okay, I noticed I was actually like limping a little bit.
Oh. Dia
Yeah,
bilang katanya lemah di kaki kiri dan tangan kiri, jadi jalannya itu tersendat-sendat
yeah.
gitu.
So then they said, oh wow, and so I think somebody there went with me upstairs to the other teacher's room where I keep all my stuff,
Mhm.
and I grabbed my backpack and everything, and then they got a school car took me to the hospital, and then on the way I continued to drink the DMSO.
Uh, how long are you supposed to take the DMSO? Every hour or
Yeah, like every
15
15
minutes?
every, yeah, every 15 minutes. I don't know for sure how much you're supposed to take. I forget exactly what it is. I have to read the instructions again.
Ya,
But
jadi Setiap 15 menit Scott minum DMSO itu 15 mili dengan 100 mili air gula atau jus.
Yeah. And
Right.
then once we got to the hospital, they got me in and hooked me up to an IV and all that stuff. But they, immediately did a MRI of
Mhm.
my head, and
Right.
and then they found there was no clot, nothing.
Sampai di rumah sakit Medistra karena dokter kita, dokter Gunawan itu adalah berprakteknya di sana. Jadi kita Scott masuk ke rumah sakit Medistra. Di sana langsung di MRI. Oke. Untuk
And
ngecek kepalanya.
yeah, so also the
Tidak
first
ada. No clot, right, lah?
no clot, like nothing at all.
Tidak
Same,
ada pembekuan.
yeah, same as the first time. So the first time,
Sama seperti yang pertama kali dia mengalami
yeah,
TIA-nya.
there was also no clot,
Tidak ada
but
pembekuan.
the second time they did see something. They said it looks like you had a clot, maybe many years ago. Because they could see even somehow maybe there's some damage or something from something.
Oh, jadi Scott bilang dokter ketemu setelah MRI bahwa sepertinya Scott udah pernah kena hal yang sama sebelumnya berapa tahun yang lalu, tapi Scott nggak nyadar waktu itu. So actually this might have been your third time.
Yeah, it might have been.
But you didn't realize.
Well, if it happened before, I mean, there was a time when I don't remember feeling any weakness, but I just couldn't remember people's names. Like,
Pernah
yeah,
terjadi beberapa tahun yang lalu, Scott nggak ingat nama orang.
yeah.
Kemungkinan itu pada saat itu terjadi stroke ringan, TIA itu.
Hmm. Like I remember, I was thinking of Teddy, and I was thinking, what is his name? And then I try to think of somebody else's, maybe like Hartono. I couldn't think of his name, and like I couldn't think of anybody's name. Fortunately, love, I could still think of your name. Yeah.
Untung dia bilang dia nggak bisa ingat nama siapapun, tapi untungnya masih ingat nama saya. You better remember my name.
Yeah, I didn't think about asking myself if I remembered my own name. I didn't think about that. Actually.
So what happened?
So then,
After that?
so when that happened, I thought, well, this is weird, and then, I was like, okay, well, let's see what's going on here, and I just kind of, kept doing whatever I was doing, but I was kind of shocked by it, and then it just seemed to go away, after about half hour to an hour or something like that. It just faded away.
At the
And then,
hospital, right?
no, I didn't go to the hospital that time. When I couldn't remember
At the time. Where were you at the time? Were you in retreat?
here at home. Yeah,
At home.
yeah. I think you were gone or something because I would have told you, but
Right.
I think I would have anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was a very weird thing. It's just like I couldn't lock on to people's names. So weird.
Wow. Ya, jadi itu yang pernah terjadi, nggak bisa ingat nama siapapun pada saat mengalami stroke ringan itu. And then after they checked in your brain that they couldn't find anything wrong.
Mhm.
So what happened?
Well, I do have high blood pressure, so they said,
Darahnya tinggi memang Scott ini.
yeah, it was probably, who knows, like 200 over 120, something like that, which is
The first one was 210 on the top. I remember that.
at the hospital.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Okay. That was one of my higher days. So yeah, my blood pressure was very high.
Darahnya tinggi Scott nih. Jadi
Yeah.
pertama kali 210, tapi bawahnya saya nggak ingat. When you had the TIA the second time, what was your blood pressure on the top?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. The second time, I thought it was maybe 200 or something.
Oh, yang kedua kali kurang lebih 200 atasnya. Jadi tinggi sekali memang. Actually, you took medicine, right? The high blood pressure. Or you
Uh,
already took, right?
after the first time,
Yeah.
I don't. I guess
You
I
were
might.
pretty, yeah, you were pretty good in taking the meds after the first one. And then for some reason, your high blood pressure increased. What was
Yeah,
the trigger, if you want to share?
trigger. No, I don't know what the trigger was. Have no idea what the
Iya,
trigger.
betul sis. Tinggi sekali memang. That's why.
What's that?
Yeah, she said, si Susanti said it's very, very high. Normally it's under 130.
Oh yeah,
Uh, actually, it's depending on age, right?
yeah,
Semakin tua, semakin
but
tinggi tekanan
but
darahnya.
yeah, even at my age, it should be like below 140. You know,
Mhm.
I mean the
Yeah, that's
doctors.
what the doctor said too.
Yeah, I was listening to a doctor the other day, and he was talking about people over the age 16 over 60. That he shoots for a blood pressure around 130 over, I don't know over what, but 130 is the high number. And
Mm,
yeah, so so I was 200 ish, so
yeah.
obviously way too high. And so, oh, but by the way, before we move on to other stuff, I wanted to say something about the DMSO. Uh,
Okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So if I had had a stroke, let's say at 1 o'clock in the morning when I was sleeping, and then I wake up at, let's say, 6 a.m., and then I'm like, I have a weak arm, weak leg, and it's like, oh wow, the stroke, happened sometime in the night, but but I wouldn't know when it happened because it happened while I was sleeping, right? And
Mm,
maybe it happened at 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe it happened at 1 o'clock in the morning. Who knows, right? So
mm,
then if we went to the hospital, they have a medicine for strokes, but they would not be able to give me that medicine
right,
um, to dissolve the clot because they don't know for sure when it started, and you have to give that medicine within a 3-hour window from the time that it
right,
happened. And
right,
so because and if it's beyond that 3-hour window, it can cause a brain bleed, which then is even worse. And
right.
so maybe it could even kill you. So
Nah, just a minute. Let me kind of translate it. Scott bilang, untungnya pada saat dia mengalami 2 kali TIA itu, dia dalam keadaan tidak tidur. Yang pertama, malam hari lagi santai di kamar, yang kedua di sekolah. Untungnya jadi tahu kira-kira jam berapa serangan itu terjadi. Coba bayangin katanya kalau dia ngalaminnya itu tengah malam lagi tidur, tau-taunya jam 6 pagi, jam 5 pagi itu misalnya. Tangannya tuh lemes, kakinya lemes, itu wah nggak bisa dibayangin. Padahal kedokteran ini punya obat untuk meluruhkan pembekuan darah. Tapi mereka nggak boleh sembarangan kasih karena itu bisa menyebabkan pendarahan di otak. Jadi memang betul banyak orang bilang, Sis Brenda kasih angkung aja katanya. Saya bilang belum berani. I'm talking about the Chinese medicine thing.
mm,
Uh, Sebelum MRI dilakukan, saya tidak berani kasih angkung. Jadi bro dan sis yang pernah dengar tentang angkung pun harus hati-hati. Kenapa? Yang saya tahu, kalau itu pembekuan, boleh kasih angkung. Tapi kalau itu pendarahan, itu bisa menjadi makin parah pendarahannya di otak. Jadi nggak boleh sembarangan kasih angkung. Begitu melihat seseorang kena ciri-cirinya kena stroke, harus MRI dulu ya bro sis ya. Jadi ya angkung nggak boleh. Kalau ada sumbatan sebetulnya nggak apa-apa, justru dia bisa membuka. Tapi justru kalau udah pendarahan itu yang nggak boleh. Jadi jangan sembarang kasih angkung, bukan berarti kita nggak sayang sama keluarga kita, tapi harus hati-hati. Okay, love, go ahead. I'm talking about the Chinese medicine that people are talking, that angkung thing.
I don't know what that's about, but
Well, you know that rat tin, the one
oh, that
from Sisufi, which was very, very expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm telling them they have to be careful. Must an MRI first to know whether this is bleeding or is it clotting.
Okay. So anyway, so regarding, getting a stroke, and then you don't know when it started, so you don't know if you're beyond 3 hours or not. When you go to
Mm,
the hospital, they they will not be able to give you this medicine, which could reverse the stroke, and
right.
so that then you're not paralyzed, right?
Mhm.
Um, but because it's beyond the 3 hours, they can't give it to you.
Right.
And they just throw their hands up and say, "Well, sorry,
Ya,
now you're paralyzed for the rest of your life. Good
ya.
luck."
Jadi di dalam dunia kedokteran itu ada yang namanya golden time. I think it's called the golden time.
I
Have to
guess
be careful. Yeah, within 3 hours there is still chance. 3 or 5 loh.
3.
3. Dalam 3 jam masih ada kesempatan untuk bisa pulih. Tapi kalau sudah lewat 3 jam, kedokteran nggak bisa apa-apa, itu bisa jadi paralyzed, itu bisa lumpuh, bisa ya mengalami hal lebih parah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if it happens while you're sleeping, there's no way for them to know, and so they just will not give you the medicine because they don't want to take the chance, and so
Right.
then you're stuck with paralysis for the rest of your life. Yeah. But with DMSO, you can take it anytime. You can take it 2 days later. Yeah, you could take it
Oh,
a day later, 2 days later, and
okay.
it can still dissolve the clot.
Oh,
Um,
jadi
and
Scott bilang dia kan
without
banyak melakukan riset DMSO yang tadi dia cerita itu bisa menghancurkan apa namanya clottingnya, apa pembekuan itu. Itu 2 hari setelah terjadi pun masih aman, masih bisa. Tapi kalau obat kedokteran, but did you tell the doctor that you took DMSO?
Yeah, I did. So, in my opinion, everybody should have this. Everybody should buy this. They should have it at home, and just in case, because nobody knows when they're going to get a stroke, and
Yeah,
especially elderly.
right.
Probably after the age of 50 or something like that. You should have it, and you should know how to take it.
Mhm.
So if you do get a stroke in the middle of the night, you have a chance to overcome it. And
Is it available in Indonesia?
yes, it is. You can get it on Tokopedia. Yeah.
Oke,
Um,
jadi saya tanya, apakah DMSO ini ada di Indonesia? Karena waktu itu kan Scott pertama kali dibawain sama Bante. Kata Scott ada, bisa beli di online store ya. Jadi DMSO ini bisa menyelamatkan orang-orang yang terkena stroke di awal. Jadi setelah itu masih bisa minum juga. Tapi memang the smell, oh my God, the
yeah,
smell.
and the taste. It's not pleasant to take it, but hey, if it can keep you from being paralyzed for the rest of your life,
Ya,
then
jadi kata Scott semua orang harusnya nyimpen DMSO, terutama yang udah di atas kepala 5 umurnya. Itu kalau kena stroke langsung cepet minum itu supaya bisa jangan sampai menjadi paralyzed. Paralyzed itu lumpuh ya. Karena kalau terlambat penanganannya stroke itu ya begitulah berbahayanya.
yeah, and there's a few studies that have been done on it for stroke like that, and
Mhm.
it's
Oh, where was the study?
I don't know for sure. I mean, I don't remember, but
You
um,
have the documents?
yeah, I downloaded them. I'm sure I have them someplace.
Oke.
So yeah,
Jadi
so
Bro dan Sis yang tertarik nih misalnya kepengen tahu studi tentang DMSO itu ada, Scott sudah download kalau ada yang tertarik. Takarannya, oke. Si Susanti was asking what's uh, the 15 milli DMSO plus 100 milli juice, right?
juice, but yeah, if you don't have juice, just it's basically the juice is just to help with the taste.
Uh,
Um,
jadi menurut Scott 15 mili DMSO-nya diminum setiap 15 menit. Itu dicampur ya, 15 mili DMSO dicampur dengan jus. Jadi jus ini hanya untuk rasa, karena rasanya nggak enak dan baunya pun nggak enak gitu. Tapi ada studinya, makanya Scott jadi ngerti dan jadi dia pakai dan tidak lumpuh jadinya.
Yeah. Hopefully someday hospitals will have it. So when the stroke victim comes in, and had a stroke during their sleeping time, then they'll be
Yeah.
able to give it, and it can be given intravenously. Uh, I,
Where did
yeah.
they get intravenous IV itu infus katanya bisa juga ditaruh di infus sebetulnya.
Well, basically, no. I mean, there have been doctors who have used it intravenously, but it hasn't been approved really for intravenous use. It hasn't been approved for strokes. With the pharmaceutical world, and the FDA and all that stuff, everything has to be approved and go through all this step-by-step
Di
process.
dunia kedokteran ini semuanya harus disetujui oleh FDA di Amerika. Jadi belum ada persetujuan itu karena obat ini ya it's not too expensive, right lah?
No. I think what do we get? We got, I forget how many. I don't know. It's like, I think in Indonesia, I want to say it's like 150 or 1.5 million or maybe 2 million, I say, for a
Mungkin
liter.
sekitar 1,5 sampai 2 juta seliternya. But they don't need to take 1 liter. So how many times they should take? Like how many times did you take the DMSO?
Well, until the 100 milliliters was gone.
Sampai 100 milinya habis. Jadi makanya kenapa Scott selalu bawa 100 mili DMSO itu, cairan itu di tasnya dia, di backpacknya dia. I think now that we talk about this, you need to prepare that in your little bags which you carry when you go out.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, you never know when. I hope, knock on wood, nothing happened again like that to you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I think you might need to consider that.
If that did happen, I think we'd want to rush home. But who knows? Maybe traffic in Jakarta.
Or maybe you are not in Jakarta.
Well, so if we travel, I should always take my backpack. But if I don't, then
there's a question from Sis Weni which you can read. Is it okay to consume DMSO regularly? For example,
yes,
once in a month, just for protection to avoid stroke attack.
I wouldn't. It might be helpful that way. To take it as a preventative, as a prophylactic. But I'm not sure. I mean, some people do take like a teaspoon every day because they think it's good for something. I'm not. It could help with inflammation, for example, in the body.
I would like to ask you to send those studies to me. So if they want the documents, they can send me a message and I can forward it to them.
Yeah, if they go to Google Scholar and
Google Scholar.
Yeah,
Brosis bisa masuk ke Google Scholar and then
search DMSO. And there's literally thousands of studies that have been done on DMSO.
Okay. Cari DMSO karena banyak sekali yang sudah di study di mana-mana itu ada ribuan kata Scott. Yeah. Jadi mungkin bisa juga Google Scholar, you said?
Google Scholar, yeah. Yeah, Google Scholar is just, you just go on Google or you just search for Google Scholar. You'll go to Google Scholar, and basically, it's a good database of studies.
Jadi banyak sekali studi di sana, Brosis bisa cek sendiri. Google Scholar namanya. SCHOLAR, right? Scholar.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Cari tentang studi tentang DMSO. Si Susanti is asking, actually, if someone's still not sure is that stroke can just have a same signal like stroke, can consume it before check in hospital? Iya, that's what Scott did. That's what you did, right?
Yeah. Because it's not going to hurt you either. It's not.
There's only a problem of diarrhea which you experience.
Yeah, maybe you feel like throwing up, after taking so much of it. But But other than that, there is no, it is actually used as a preservative for organ transplants. So when they pick up an organ from one hospital and they're going to transfer it to another hospital to be implanted
Uh-huh,
for a victim of whatever, they lost their kidney or liver or whatever,
uh-huh.
um, they put it in the solution of DMSO.
Oh,
Because,
ternyata Bro Scott bilang kalau orang mau pindahin organ tubuh dari satu rumah sakit ke rumah sakit lain, mereka pakai DMSO untuk menjaga organnya itu masih bisa bagus gitu. Jadi kata
yeah,
kalau menurut Scott, it's safe, right?
it's protective. It's
Oh,
protective.
melindungi.
Yeah. So it helps because they keep the organs cold, they freeze them or whatever, and it protects the cells from dying.
Hmm. Now, what is it about the long QT syndrome? And I think I'm gonna read that a little bit about this so people know. Jadi, so after you were hospitalized,
Yeah.
the heart doctor asked you to check the 24-hour Holter, right? Jadi setelah Scott di rumah sakit, itu dokternya minta Scott ngecek pakai Holter 24 jam untuk jantung, dan akhirnya ketemu bahwa Scott itu ada masalah dengan long QT syndrome. Nah, long QT ini yang Scott alami adalah jadi LQTS ini, LQT itu electrical atau listriknya dari jantungnya Scott itu seperti gitu ya. Ada kan kalau orang normal ada dut gitu ya, brosis ya. Tetapi what he experienced is like a dead person, right? Like a few seconds, a millisecond maybe.
Milliseconds.
Ya, millisecond, beberapa detik. Hi David, good to see you here.
David?
So, yeah, David's in.
Hmm.
So what is the LQTS? A type of heart rhythm disorder which people call arrhythmia, caused by issues in the electrical system that controls the heartbeat. The term long QT refers to a heart rhythm problem detected through an electrocardiogram, ECG. These tests examine the heart's electrical waves, which are comprised of 5 main waves: P, Q, R, S, T. The QT interval measures the electrical activity from the start of the Q wave to the end of the T wave. Jadi makanya kenapa dibilang long QT. Jadi Q, R, S, T. Jadi itu makanya kenapa dibilangnya QT. Ini heart rhythm. Jadi detak jantungnya Scott itu ada ketidaknormalan. So go ahead, love. Now it's time for you to discuss about the LQTS.
Okay, so I was just looking at the study when they did the Holter on me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so the normal QT is 350 to 450 milliseconds.
What's that? Can you please repeat?
Sure, it's 350 to 450 milliseconds.
350 sampai 415 detik mili. Jadi itu yang normal. So what's yours?
Mine was
It was quite 500 something?
no, so basically they looked at a 24-hour period, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Di tes
I
itu 24 jam dia pakai Holter alat untuk jantungnya.
yeah, I was less than 450 milliseconds, about 10% of a 24-hour day.
Hmm.
You want to say that?
10% itu berkurang detak QT-nya itu.
Yeah, and I was greater than 450 milliseconds for 90% of the day.
Oh, 90%-nya itu 400 millisecond, detik per mili.
Yeah.
Detik mili ya.
Yeah, and I was greater than 490 milliseconds for about 6% of the day.
6%-nya 490 milisecond. Jadi sangat ada ininya gitu. Ada masa ini dan ini sangat berbahaya sebenarnya brosis. Jadi kalau misalnya ada yang pernah pingsan, tapi Scott bukan pernah pingsan. You never fainted, right, love?
No, never fainted. Never
Yeah.
felt fainted or anything.
Yeah, what I read here, the long QT syndrome can cause sudden fainting and seizures. Young people with LQTS syndrome has a higher risk of sudden cardiac death. Nah ini bahaya, bisa tiba-tiba betul meninggal. Jadi kalau misalnya brosis ada mengalami lemah, mau pingsan gitu ya, atau misalnya seizure, seperti what's the seizure like? Did you experience seizures?
Never.
Nggak pernah ya. Oh, jadi Scott nggak pernah mengalami seizure seperti itu. Jadi tapi kalau misalnya ada masalah dengan aritmia, ada baiknya. I think if somebody has a arrhythmia issue, I think they might want to check their the Holter test, right? 24-hour.
It's a good idea to do that. So you know, and then I mean, if there's some major abnormality, they can maybe have some medication to help with it. Yeah.
Right. Jadi ada obat yang bisa membantu seandainya ada yang mengalami long QT syndrome ini. Jadi harus hati-hati karena dia bisa berhenti mendadak ini. Kalau tidak, kita tidak tahu sama sekali. Untung dokter kita ini, dokter jantung kita, dokter Mega di Rumah Sakit Medistra, saya tidak menjadi masalah karena saya merasakan dokter ini membantu kita mengerti tentang long QT syndrome gitu. Jadi makanya kenapa pentingnya bagi kita kalau udah punya masalah jantung berdebar atau jantungnya nggak normal, ininya apa detaknya, aritmia seperti itu. Did you experience like breathing hard or something?
Nothing. You know, even with my high blood pressure at 200 or maybe even 210, whatever, I always feel normal. I don't feel anything.
Right. But Dr. Mega did say that the long QT syndrome can cause stroke. Yeah.
So that so I just want to back up a little bit, to the numbers here. So when I was at 490 milliseconds, which is about 6% of the day, that is basically 400 over. Let me see. Yeah. So that put me about 40 milliseconds. 40 milliseconds over normal, because normal is 450, right? So that means like for 6% of the day, I was 40 milliseconds. I mean, you can't even, if you take a stopwatch and go, start stop, you can't even do 40 milliseconds. That's so fast, right? Yeah. So in my mind, anyway, I question if it's really a big problem. I think, this is just me. Maybe I could be wrong, but I tend to think, we're overreacting.
Well, because, no, it's because it can cause sudden death, love.
Well, yeah, sudden death if you get a stroke, and but who's to say that this is really what caused a stroke? Maybe it was something else. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it supposedly she said like the long QT could cause a clot to happen. So that extra 40 milliseconds, which is again, it's just such a fast period, a very small period of time. Somehow that could cause a clot. In my mind, I don't think so.
But it also can cause from the hereditary, right?
That's so she did. We did some. It turned out, we did a hereditary thing, where they took my DNA, and they checked to see if I'm. It was from hereditary, and evidently it could be, but it's so. I think the results of it, it was like, yeah, okay, it looks like I do have the gene that maybe could cause me to have lung QT, but it's like insignificant. That or there's no, how does she put it? It's like they haven't studied it enough to know if it really means anything, you know?
Right. But
So,
you did have that issue from your dad, right?
well,
That your dad had arrhythmia problem.
yeah, I don't know if it's from my dad or not, but yeah, my dad did have arrhythmia problem. He did, for sure. Yeah.
Right. Maybe at the time we didn't know anything about long QT, but if he did a Holter, they might find it also.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like,
Tapi papanya Scott juga mengalami aritmia, jadi saya bilang kemungkinan besar juga itu bisa dari keturunan, kemungkinan besar.
just like I only have one kidney, you know,
Yeah.
and then we found out a few, like many years later, like just a couple years ago, that my brother only has one kidney, you know, and we don't know if that came from my mother's side or my father's side because we don't know, you know,
Nobody said anything.
yeah, before they passed away. So,
Right. Jadi keluarganya Scott itu nggak pernah dia bilang, tapi Scott tahu memang dari lahir dia punya ginjal cuma satu. Tapi dan baru berapa tahun yang lalu ketemu kokonya Scott juga mempunyai ginjal cuma satu. Jadi itu juga mungkin dari keturunan, nggak tahu.
hi Cheryl, one of my students is there.
Okay.
Yeah, one of my favorite students. Grade 11. Yeah.
So this is what it said, complications of long QT syndrome. If not promptly and properly addressed, long QT syndrome poses a risk of several complications.
Hey,
Some
love,
of these complications include...
stop real quick. Hey, love, real quick.
Okay.
I was in Cheryl's class when I had the stroke.
Oh, I see. So your student can, Cheryl,
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that when you have the stroke, huh?
That's right. It was her class when I said, "Hey guys, I gotta go. I've got a stroke," and they all looked at me like, "What?"
You know what I suggested to you, right? Knock on wood, it doesn't happen again. But if it happened like that, you have to be careful to ask your students to help you. Go to the teacher's room instead of walking by yourself.
I know. I should have had Richie. Richie's the big guy in that classroom. He could have carried me on his back.
Yeah, no. He doesn't need to carry you. He just need to hold on. You need to have somebody to hold on.
Yeah,
thank you, Sis Julia. Sis Julia said, Sis Brenda, you look great and glowing. Oh, padahal ini cuma pakai bedak biasa.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. It can cause also a condition. Let me read that dangerous thing. The heart's ventricles beat rapidly and irregularly. It can also potentially causing the heart to stop pumping blood. This condition can obstruct blood flow throughout the body, including to the brain, and also the sudden cardiac arrest. So it is important to note that it's very important if people have arrhythmia, they might want to check with their doctor about the Holter test, the long QT syndrome, because this was what happened to Scott until he got the second TIA. And then we found out that actually that was it, right, love?
Yeah. Because, we got a cardiologist who really, was concerned and very responsible and trying to figure out what the problem was. Yeah.
Right.
So he was very proactive.
Right. So this, you can ask your heart doctor to do the screening. I think any hospitals in Indonesia or anywhere else can do this test. It's called Holter, Holter for the heart. and 24 hours. So what do you do to take care of this issue, love? About your diet, for example,
Well,
or exercise.
well, first of all, the medication. So I was given a bunch of medication to not only lower my blood pressure, but also try to improve the long QT interval to make it a little bit shorter. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why I did the Holter test, not just one time, but I did it 3 times, I believe. Yeah. And so then they,
Right.
yeah, so they, after giving me the medication, they looked at each one, and
Mm-hmm.
it did improve. It
Yeah.
was,
Jadi
the,
kalau udah ketahuan, misalnya ada betul long QT syndrome itu, makanya bisa dikurangi QT-nya supaya jangan sampai terlalu panjang karena bahaya kalau nggak nafas. Kalau jantungnya tidak berdetak seperti itu.
yeah,
Jadi
and
dikasih obat-obatan dan udah kelihatan hasilnya karena udah beberapa kali Holter test 3 atau 4 kali. I think it was 4 times.
yeah, I'm not sure, three or 4.
Once a month, she asked you to do the test.
Right, right. So anyway, but
How
it's
about your fasting? I think you might want to talk about your fasting.
well, yeah. So all that really good hospital food made me fat. I, I was there. I was there for a week, and they fed me 3 meals a day, and I had to eat it all every time. So plus they got that bakery that was it Ooh La La or forget they changed the name of it, right? That bakery, which they've got this chocolate croissant thing, which I love. Kind of a whatever you call that thing. Anyway, spiral chocolate, and yeah, got to have one of those. So. Yeah. So anyway, I got a little fat there. By the time I got out, I was a little fatter than I went in, I think. And then, yeah, gosh, after you get over the age of 60, it's like more difficult to keep the weight off. I feel like my metabolism is like super slow, and I can only eat a handful of food a day. If I eat more than that, I gain weight.
So
So
what did you just do last week?
yeah, because my shirts weren't fitting anymore. Uh, yeah,
Bajunya pada nggak muat.
yeah,
Jadinya dia
like,
puasa, total fast, right?
yeah. So I went on
Only
a
drink water
yeah,
and tea.
water, tea, and coffee. I did that for a week, which I just finished today. I just started eating again today. So, but I went 7 days without any food. Just
Uh,
just drank water, coffee, and tea. And yeah, well, I lost what do we saw? We looked earlier was like
18 pounds,
15
7
pounds
kilos, about 7 kilos you lost.
kilos.
Jadi Scott itu minggu lalu 1 minggu full tidak makan. Jadi betul-betul puasa cuma minum air putih, teh, kopi, nggak makan sama sekali 7 hari.
and
Kemudian
and no sugar, like no sugar in the coffee,
ya
no
nggak pakai
nothing.
gula.
Mm.
So hilangnya jadi
So my
7
shirt's fit now.
kilo,
Sure.
15 pound. Yes, 7 days without any food at all. Correct.
That's right. So now my shirt's fit, and
Muat bajunya katanya.
yeah, and yeah, 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 and I feel good. When you fast like that, the first 3 or 4 days are kind of tough, but after that it does get
What did
easier.
you experience when you the first few days after you fast, no food? Because
Well,
it's kind of detox, right? Did you get a headache or
yeah,
body ache?
no, this time I didn't even get a headache. I think the very first fast I did where I didn't eat anything for a few days, like a week, a long
Mhm,
time ago. I did. I had a headache the first 3 days,
mhm.
like on day 3, I think I had a headache. But this time, no headache. Really wasn't even hungry. I just drink lots of water, a lot of liquids, and I use the 6 R's too. To not think about food. I just
No,
6 R
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Jadi bagus
um,
juga nih 6R bekerja buat Scott, nggak pikirin makan, nggak pikirin apa, jadi pokoknya ya udah istirahat. But you felt cold, right?
yeah. So after about, 5 days, 6 days of fasting, yeah, I started feeling cold, like cold feet and, um, kind of antsy in my sleep. Like I had a hard time sleeping. I think my body just kind of feels uncomfortable.
Iya,
Um,
Scott bilang dia merasa gelisah. Iya. Well,
yeah,
Imelda is asking a question. How could you not eating anything for a whole week? Well, you did it, right?
yeah. It's actually not too hard. Once you get past 3 days or so, your body actually, your stomach produces a hormone that that turns off your hunger um, craving. It's like a switch that makes it so you don't get hungry anymore. And
Hmm.
yeah, and then actually, there's a lot of good things about it. You have more clarity of mind.
Oh,
Um,
pikirannya jadi jernih kalau nggak makan, bro, sis.
mm, yeah,
Oke?
no headache, and yeah, so clarity of mind, and then it's not that really not that difficult. I mean, at first it's kind of weird if you've never done it before. It's kind of like, ugh, how could you do that, right? But but then after you do it, one time, then it's like, wow, I can do that. For me, one of the reasons why I actually wanted to do it, not just to lose weight, but I wanted to, because I had learned about it, and I had
Mhm.
read a book. It's called The Complete Guide to Fasting by Jason Fung. That's
Oh,
F
Scott udah
U
baca buku Complete Guide of Fasting. Jadi, um,
by, by Jason
Imelda
Fung.
said, my stomach won't allow me not to eat anything.
Well, you'd be surprised. Yeah, yeah. Once
Yeah.
you get
I
past
think
the
it's similar because I'm doing the intermittent fasting. I'm not eating at night. The first
yeah.
few days, true, is very hard. But after some times,
I was just saying hi to Theodora. She said hi, so she's there.
oh, okay, your student, one of your students.
Yeah, one of my grade 8 students.
Oh, good. Hello. Good to see you. Hey,
Who's
love. Sis
who's good.
Kirana from Taipei is asking, what is
Hmm.
the first food you eat after 7 days? Which is today.
Well,
Today,
what did you order for me this morning, love?
I ordered bubur for you.
That's right. So that's what I had. I had
Porridge.
yeah,
Porridge.
it was a big bowl of bubur, and I just started. I only ate a part of it, maybe a quarter of it, and
Yeah.
and then an hour later, then I finished. I waited an hour, and then I ate the rest of the bubur, and yeah, no problem. Yeah,
Tirsa Vijaya said, in my mind, it will be increased concentration when do meditation. That's correct.
yeah.
But when remember that Scott is also a meditator, so when he doesn't eat, he's not thinking about food. That's why his mind is more clear. Right, love.
Well, I mean, that's part of it. Yeah. Also, it's a big time saver too, by the way. If you don't eat, you have more time to do other things. You spend
Right.
less time on the toilet, you know?
Katanya nggak usah perlu ke toilet.
Yeah. You don't have to
But
cook. You don't have to
yeah,
clean. Yeah,
but
no
you
cooking.
still drink liquid and stuff, so you still need to go to the
Pee.
number one.
Yeah,
So in
number.
a nutshell, what would you suggest to people? Because we are reaching to 8 o'clock now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so what would I suggest to people? So, first of all, I would suggest, I think all people over the age of 50 should, first of all, maybe do the research on DMSO, and so they understand it and how it can work. Uh,
Mhm.
and then, hope if they agree with me anyway, they'll buy it. Yeah, and they should keep it at home. They should have it on hand just in case, because you never know when a stroke is going to hit, and so that way you're ready for it. And then Yeah. Secondly, let's see, what's my second
Bentar,
advice?
just a minute. Let me explain.
Hmm.
Scott bilang semua orang di atas umur 50 sebaiknya simpan DMSO, risetlah tentang DMSO yaitu dimetil sulfoksida. Kalau bro dan sis Google search DMSO, itu akan keluar informasi tentang DMSO yaitu melaporkan rasa seperti bawang putih. It's true, right? It smell like garlic.
Yes, yes, smells like garlic. Yeah. Hmm. And
So
it could be, so that's just stroke. I mean, some people put it in their eyes to help with eye problems, like to. I mean, it's an amazing substance. I mean, there's probably 1,000 different uses for it. So,
yeah.
uh, yeah.
So,
So
but we need to be careful though. It is written here, even though DMSO is used a lot, it's very important to understand and use it in caution,
yeah, use it wisely.
especially in medical application. But in your case, it was really helpful for you to take care of that issue, the TIA.
Yeah, it may have basically saved my life. I mean,
Right.
to not have a stroke. So
Twice.
twice. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I guess that's it, love. Yeah, I think we're
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story. I know we planned to do this 4 months ago, but after I prepared, I got sick myself.
Yeah.
So now I'm well, I can talk again.
Yeah, I think we plan to do it after Valentine's Day or something. So happy Valentine's Day, love.
No, no, no. We are supposed to do it in April, in the beginning of April.
Is it our anniversary or something? I don't know, something like that.
No,
Like our
no.
first meeting. I don't know.
It was after you had the problem with TIA.
Oh, okay, okay,
When you got home, then I want people to understand what you went through, so it doesn't happen to other people.
okay, okay,
Okay, let's
okay.
share some lyric. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving share all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. May they long protect Indonesia and the whole world. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Do something. Bye,
Jadi,
bye,
allow
everyone.
me to share the merit in bahasa ya.
Okay, okay.
Semoga yang menderita bebas dari derita. Semoga yang merasa takut bebas dari rasa takut. Semoga yang berduka menghapus semua dukanya. Dan semoga semua makhluk menemukan kelegaannya. Semoga semua makhluk berbagi jasa yang telah kami peroleh untuk memperoleh semua jenis kebahagiaan. Semoga semua makhluk di angkasa dan di bumi, para dewa dan naga yang perkasa, berbagi jasa-jasa kami ini. Semoga mereka terus melindungi Indonesia dan seluruh dunia. Semoga mereka terus melindungi Dhamma. Semoga semua makhluk berbahagia. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay.
Okay.
So this song Shuling. Every time see you, sis Brenda, always be happy, look always stay the same, like no aging. Wow, I am getting old, sis. Sadhu, thank you, Bro Scott and Mom Brenda. You are most welcome.
Bye, everybody.
See you
Bye,
again next
lovely
week.
students.
Ya, sampai jumpa di seri Cinta Senin depan. Nah, Senin depan saya akan membahas tentang apa yang terjadi kepada nodul di vocal cord saya. Vocal cord. Itu yang akan saya bicarakan karena supaya orang juga paham apa yang terjadi. Ini kan tentang Scott dengan isunya Scott. Nah, kalau orang juga mengerti tentang vocal nodul di nodul itu benjolan di pita suara yang pernah saya alami sampai saya harus istirahat berbicara beberapa 4 bulan terakhir. Nah, itu akan mudah-mudahan membantu bro dan sis. Oke, sampai jumpa di seri cinta Senin depan. Thank you lah.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Okay.